Good morning everyone. Myself Siddhi Sharma from Shivjyoti Educational Group. I hope you all are staying safe. So today we are going to start with History Chapter 3, the Delhi Sultans. Okay. So in this chapter we are going to read about Delhi Sultans, about Delhi, how people start capturing Delhi and how they start ruling over that particular area, how Delhi became the capital. Okay. So in this chapter we are going to read about those people who came to rule over Delhi for a longer duration of time. Introduction. Delhi first became the capital of kingdom under Tomara Rajputs. Okay, so who were the first one to rule over Delhi? Tomara Rajputs, who were defeated by Chauhans of Ajmer. And who defeated the Tomara Rajputs? Chauhans. The transformation of the Delhi into a capital that controlled a vast area of the subcontinent started with the foundation of Delhi Sultanate at the beginning of the 13th century. So how Delhi started beginning to change? How people start thinking to make Delhi as its capital? It all got started during the 13th century. The Delhi Sultan, the people who were ruling over Delhi, start thinking to convert into its capital. You can see in this picture has been given in your book also, this chart. Rajput dynasties came for the first time, then Chauhans came, then early Turkish rulers came from 1208 to 1290, then Qutbuddin Aibak. These four were the part of early Turkish rulers only. Okay, then Khalji dynasty came, then Tughlaq dynasty came, then Sayyid dynasty, and then the Lodi dynasties. These two dynasties were the dynasties who ruled for a very short duration of time. The Tughlaq dynasties, from early Turkish to Tughlaq dynasty, these were three dynasties who took power upon Delhi and have ruled for a longer duration of time. Further, we move upon towards the next topic, that is finding out about the Delhi Sultans. Now, how do we come to know about the Delhi Sultans? That they were there and they had ruled over Delhi for a longer duration of time. We come to know about them through coins, inscriptions, and various materials that they have left after ruling over the Delhi. Inscription, coins, and architecture provide a lot of information. Further valuable sources are histories, Tariq, Dwarik, written in Persian. Okay, written in Persian. The inscriptions were written in Persian and only Delhi Sultans used this language. The language of administration under the Delhi Sultans. So which language did Delhi Sultans use? Delhi Sultans used Persian language to administer and to record each and everything what they used to do in their empire. The authors of Tariq were learned men, secretaries, administrators, poets and courtiers who both recounted events and advised rulers on governance, emphasizing the importance of just the rule. Now Delhi Sultans have appointed various peoples and those people were very close to them. So those people keep on advising the Delhi Sultans about the ruling picture and how they have to rule and how they have to capture over other areas. So basically these poets, courtiers, administrators to whom Delhi Sultans have appointed, they were the only one who kept on telling the Delhi Sultans to capture the other areas and to expand their empire. Further moving from garrison towns to empire. Now what were garrison towns? Garrison towns were the fortified places where a group of soldiers used to live. Now from this topic we come to know that how Delhi Sultans expanded their control from garrison town to empire. Like in the earlier time they were having control only over the garrison towns, a place where soldiers used to live. But after the garrison towns they expanded their control to other areas and formed a big empire. In the early 13th century the control of the Delhi Sultans really went beyond heavily fortified towns occupied by the garrisons. Okay, so in the early 13th century, Delhi Sultans were having control over only heavily fortified towns that were occupied by the garrisons. Okay, that means group of soldiers. Delhi's authority was established by Mongols and by governors who rebelled at any sign of the Sultan's weakness. Okay, so Delhi authority, the Delhi Sultans, They got challenged. From whom they got challenged? They got challenged from Mongols. So Mongols were the first one to challenge Delhi's authority to have captured over Delhi authority. Because Mongols were somewhere knowing the weakness of the sultans, Delhi sultans. So Mongols were the first one to challenge Delhi authority. The expansion of Delhi Sultanate took place under the reign of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. Now, in whose reign did Delhi Sultans expanded their control, expanded their empire? In the region of Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad bin Tughlaq. In these two regions, Delhi Sultanate became the largest empire and were the most powerful world. Now, administration and consolidation. Now, how Delhi Sultans used to administer their empire. To have reliable governors, the early Delhi Sultans, especially Iltutmish, favored their special slaves purchased from military service called Bandagal in Persia. Now, Delhi Sultans, for the military, they have appointed many people. They have appointed the horses and many other things they have recruited. They have appointed many other powerful soldiers. So, they were using those soldiers only. They were using them as their slaves. Okay, they were using them for administering their kingdom, their empire. For their own work, they were using those people. The Khaljis and Tughlaqs continued to use Bandagan and also raised people of humble birth. Raised people of humble birth means those who were financially very strong and then those who were having captured over different areas. So generally Khaljis and Tughlaqs gave power to only those people who were having power upon different areas and who were financially wealthy. Who were their clients to high positions like governors and generals. The Khaljis and Tughlaqs appointed military commanders as governors of territories of varying sizes. Now what Khaljis and Tughlaqs did? The military commanders to whom they have appointed for their military purposes, they have given them different works. That means they have given the authority to them of different areas. Like for example, they were where the Delhi Sultans were ruling, the other areas where their control were not there. Where they were not ruling, they have given those areas to those military commanders to rule on their behalf. These lands were called Ikta and their holders were called Mukti or Iktadar. Okay, now what was Ikta? Ikta was a piece of land. Ikta was the land. So the owner of Ikta was Iktadar or Mukti. The duty of Muktis was to lead military campaigns and maintain law and order in their Iktas. Like for example, I am having this much of land and I am the holder of this land. Like I am having the responsibility to control the operations whichever is going on this particular land. So I am having the authority over this area, so I am the Iktadar. In return, Muktis collected revenues of their assignments as salary. They also paid their soldiers from this revenue. Okay, so I was having the responsibility to collect revenues whosoever was working with me on this land, as I was the head authority of that particular area. Under Alauddin Khilji and Muhammad Tughlaq, accountants were appointed to check the amount collected by the Muktis. Now somewhere Delhi Sultans were not having faith over Muktis also. So they appointed accountants above us, like above Muktis. So those accountants were given the responsibility to check whether we are collecting reliable revenues and whether we are giving a proper amount of revenues to the Delhi Sultans or not. Like they were having doubt that we are keeping a part of the revenue to ourselves. So they appointed accountants and those accountants used to check whether we are taking a good amount of revenue or not, or whether we are giving the revenue for the Delhi Sultans or not. As Delhi Sultans brought the hinterlands of the cities under their control, hinterlands, it was the place from where every big or small trade was going on. They forced the Samans and village landlords to accept their authorities. Okay, the Samans and village landlords, like the people even who were belonging to the hinterlands, like those who were doing the trading part from hinterlands. First, Delhi Sultans controlled hinterlands under their control, like they put hinterlands under their control, and after controlling the hinterland, they start capturing the other areas on which Samans and other landlords were working, because somewhere they knew that Samans and this landlords, they were having a good piece of land good fertile land, and this can be very fruitful to the Delhi Sultans. The attack of the Mongols under Genghis Khan forced Khiljis and Tughlaqs to mobilize a large standing army in Delhi. Okay. Now, as you all know, Mongols were the one who challenged the Delhi Sultans. So, under Genghis Khan, Mongols forced Khiljis and Tughlaqs to mobilize a large standing army in Delhi. Okay. So, in the region of Genghis Khan, Khilji and Tughlaq extended their army and made them ready for the war. Now, the Delhi Sultanate in the 15th and 16th century. The Tughlaq, the Sayyid and Lodi dynasties ruled from Delhi and Agra until 1526. By then, Jaunpur, Bengal, Malwa, Gujarat, Rajasthan and entire South India had independent rulers who had established flourishing states and prosperous capitals. New ruling dynasties like the Afghans and Rajputs also arose during the period. Okay, I have told you three main dynasties were there: Khilji, Tughlaq, Lodi, Sayyid. Okay, so new dynasties came to power upon that particular area where Khilji and Tughlaq were ruling. In 1526, Mughals established their empire. And so after the Khiljis and Tughlaq dynasties, Mughals came to rule over that particular area upon Delhi, and they start establishing their empire. Sher Shah Suri challenged and defeated Mughal Emperor Humayun. Who defeated Humayun? Sher Shah Suri. He captured Delhi and established his own dynasty. Sher Shah Suri established his own dynasty. Although he ruled for only 14 years, but his administration became the model followed by great Mughal Emperor Akbar when he consolidated the Mughal Empire. Although Sher Shah Suri ruled for only 14 years, but he ruled in such a way that other rulers who came after him ruled on his behalf, like the challenges, the terms and conditions which he followed, they all followed the same things in their empire also. So, this is it. I hope I am clear. Thank you.